Good evening. Welcome to South Asian Newsline. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Wednesday, the 8th of October. India rules out flag meeting against Pakistan's continued ceasefire violation. Suicide attack in southern Afghanistan kills 5, injures over a dozen. And India's eastern coast on high alert with cyclone Hudhud gathering steam. And now for all the details, India has called off the flag meeting with Pakistan in the wake of ceasefire violations along the line of control. Pakistan Army continued its firing at Indian posts and civilian areas, killing 1 person and injuring over a dozen others.
Toughening its stand, Indian forces have rejected any talks with its Pakistani counterparts to de-escalate the prevailing tensions at the line of control. This comes as villagers living along the border have started fleeing their homes in the wake of Pakistan's continued targets on the civilian areas for the 4th consecutive day on Wednesday. Hundreds have been forced to relocate to safer places far from the border as Pakistan Army took to showering their villages with bullets.
8 बजे का टाइम थे पाकिस्तान ने फायरिंग चालू कर दी तो हम भाग दौड़ कर इधर फिर हमारे को इधर बच्चे लेकर भागना पड़ा.
Pakistani provocation is continuing despite Islamabad approaching the United Nations Military Observer Group against what it called Indian aggression. Pakistan has been off late trying to raise the Kashmir issue globally. Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had in the recently concluded UN General Assembly sought international intervention to resolve the dispute. Many see the recent provocations at the border as another attempt from Pakistan's side in this direction.
Kashmir, they have failed. In UNO, Nawaz Sharif has failed. So it has gone a very poor impression about him and the government in the Pakistan public setup. So therefore, the army is trying to do all this. Most important thing is to activate the international border. I think you may not be surprised in due course of time. They start saying that this international border is also not recognized. To attract the public attention, to increase the importance of the army and to show it to the world people. So this is why this is happening.
Pakistan had in the past also tried to seek a third-party intervention in the dispute despite the two countries have signed an agreement in 1972 to resolve the issue bilaterally.
At least 5 people were killed and 19 others were injured in a suicide bomb blast in southern Afghanistan on Wednesday. The attacker detonated his explosive-laden vehicle outside the residence of a senior police officer in Lashkar Gah in Helmand province. Though there was no immediate claim of responsibility of the blast, the Taliban militants have recently stepped up attacks on the security forces. Wednesday's strike also comes days after the new Afghan government signed a deal with the United States to extend the stay of NATO troops in the country post-2014, which the Taliban has for long opposed. People of flood-ravaged Kashmir Valley are still struggling to gather back their disrupted lives. While many on the Indian side are lauding the help provided by the army, residents of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir blame Islamabad for turning a blind eye towards their apathy.
As waters continue to recede after a month of devastating floods, locals in the Kashmir Valley are trying to collect back their lost livelihood from the debris. India's northern state of Jammu and Kashmir, which was hit by the calamity, witnessed one of the biggest rescue operations in the country ever, with 30,000 troops that worked day and night to evacuate over 226,000 people to safety. 5 days of incessant rains early last month led to landslides damaging roads, dozens of bridges, buildings and crops across the Himalayan state. The Indian Army, along with the Border Road Organization, has been successful in reviving the bridges and roads collapsed at various places across the Kashmir Valley. In the aftermath of the floods, the paramilitary Border Security Force has set up medical camps to prevent the spread of waterborne disease in the region.
यहाँ पर बहुत सैलाब आया, यहाँ पर बहुत सारी बीमारियाँ फैली हुई है लगता है, यहाँ पर इसलिए बीएसएफ वालों ने फ्री यहाँ पर दवाई दी है ताकि हमें दवाई मिले, हम अच्छी तरीके से दवाई खा सके ताकि हम बीमारी का शिकार न हो जाए.
While life is slowly getting back to normal on the Indian side of Kashmir, things were not the same across the border. The floods had also wreaked havoc in Pakistan, leaving more than 400 dead, inundating hundreds of villages and destroying thousands of acres of farmland. Landslides and flash floods ravaged the mountainous region of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, or POK-2, with dozens of deaths reported. The inaction of the Nawaz Sharif government in POK has aroused the fury of locals who loathe their local administration for turning a blind eye during the catastrophe.
हमें ना गवर्नमेंट पूछती है ना कोई चीज़ पूछती है और हमारे नाम भी काटे गए हैं भाई आप लोग सैलाब मुतासरीन है ही नहीं अगर हम नहीं है मुस्तैक बिल्कुल हमें बांधे दरिया में फेंके अगर मुस्तैक है तो हमें अपना हक क्यों नहीं देते
इंतज़ामिया का कोई शख्स भी सिंगल यहाँ नहीं आया बल्कि डिज़ास्टर मैनेजमेंट वालों को भी इतला हो चुकी थी और DC को भी इतला कर दी थी और मुख्तलिफ फोरम से सब लोगों ने कन्वे किया था खुसूसन मेरे इस हवाले से कि मेरा मकान तबाह हो गया और तमाम चीज़ें ज़ाया हो गई हैं लेकिन बदकिस्मती से किसी एक सिंगल इंतज़ामिया की तरफ से कोई शख्स यहाँ नहीं आया
Kashmiri leaders and activists reiterated the apathy of Islamabad towards the problems facing POK.
इतने लोगों का खरबों का नुकसान हो गया और कोई मैनेजमेंट नहीं हुई कोई उस सैलाब से उस फ्लड से लोगों को बचाने के लिए कोई इमीडिएट रेस्क्यू नहीं रहा चेया जाए कि पाकिस्तान के ज़ेरे इंतज़ाम एक इलाका जिसका नाम जो है वो पाकिस्तान ने एक शायराना मुबालगा राय के तौर पर उसको आज़ाद कश्मीर रखा है जो कंट्रोल बाय पाकिस्तान है जो ऑक्युपाइड बाय पाकिस्तान है इलीगल ऑक्युपाइड बाय पाकिस्तान है वहाँ तो कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है ही नहीं
Even as POK continues to struggle after the deluge, reports say more than 200,000 people have been displaced in the flood-affected regions of Pakistan.
At least 14 militants were killed and several others were injured in a US drone attack in Pakistan's tribal areas on Tuesday. The unmanned aerial strike was targeted at a Taliban compound in a training camp in the Takhil area of Pakistan's volatile North Waziristan. The killed militants also included foreigners suspected to be Uzbek nationals. This was the second aerial attack carried out by the US inside Pakistan on the very same day. Earlier on Tuesday, another suspected militant compound in Shawal had come under missile attack, killing 6 people. The tribal areas have witnessed a sudden rise in the number of unmanned aerial attacks in recent times. Washington had suspended the hugely unpopular drone strikes in Pakistan for the first 6 months of this year after pressure from Islamabad citing civilian casualties. India's eastern coast has been put on high alert after the weather department issued a cyclone warning. The cyclone Hudhud is predicted to make landfall on Sunday, the same day cyclone Cyclone hit the coast last year.
India's eastern provinces are bracing for a season of cyclones yet again. India's meteorological department has issued warning for 16 districts of Odisha and parts of neighbouring Andhra Pradesh. According to the Met Department, the cyclonic storm, which is currently at the Bay of Bengal, is expected to gain strength in the coming days before hitting the coast on Sunday.
The system is likely to move west-northwestern and cross North Andhra Pradesh coast on 12th October 2014, and the system also likely to intensify into cyclonic storm in next 12 hours. We learn in Odisha, its immediate impact is not there up to 9th, but from 10th afternoon there might be rainfall activity in coastal Odisha, and heavy to very heavy rainfall may occur some pockets of Odisha in south and coastal Odisha on 12th and 13th October 2014.
India's eastern coast experiences a season of cyclonic storms during October and November every year. Last year, Cyclone, one of the strongest cyclones to hit the coast, had ravaged parts of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. Loss of human lives was, however, minimized by advance warnings and a timely evacuation of millions of people. More than 10,000 people were killed and billions worth of crops and infrastructure were damaged when the country was hit by the deadliest cyclone in 1999.
India on Tuesday initiated the process to supply 100 megawatt of power to neighbouring Bangladesh, which is battling an energy crisis for a long time now.
Indian envoy to Bangladesh, Sandeep Chakravarti, was in northeastern Tripura to take stock of the works on a supply line that will provide power to neighbouring Bangladesh. The proposed line will supply 100 megawatts electricity to Bangladesh through a 400 kilowatt switching station in India's eastern West Bengal. Chakravarti said the power project is progressing fast.
আপনারা জানেন যে ভারত সরকার ডিসাইড করেছে পালাটানা প্রজেক্ট থেকে 100 মেগাওয়াট বিদ্যুৎ বাংলাদেশকে বিক্রি করা হবে। তো সেই উপলক্ষে আমি মানে সেই কনটেক্সটে আমি মাননীয় মন্ত্রীর সাথে দেখা করতে এসেছিলাম। তো আমরা এই ডিটেইলে গিয়ে একটু আলাপ আলোচনা করলাম কি কি অগ্রগতি কতটুকু কি কাজ বাকি রয়েছে।
The power line from Tripura to Bangladesh is the second such initiative India has undertaken. India and Bangladesh had entered into an agreement to supply 250 megawatts power to the latter during Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to India. At 321 kilowatts, Bangladesh has one of the lowest per capita energy in the world. Only 62% of the country's population has access to electricity. Bangladesh depends mostly on natural gas to feed its energy needs, which accounts for 66% of the country's power generation, followed by oil, hydropower and coal.
Fashion and Bollywood set the tone for each other, and adding to the glamour quotient are these stars. Take a look at how they scotched the ramp with their style statement.
It was an amalgamation of bohemian meeting chic and casual at the recently concluded Myntra Fashion Weekend. Bollywood actor Diana Penty glided down the runway to unveil the Elle Fashion Autumn-Winter 2014 line. It presented winter essential looks from denim tops, jeans and boots to maxi dresses, jumpsuits, knitted pea coats and crop tops. The range covered the style transition from day to night. The French collection show had Penty walking the ramp in a black attire with dark eye makeup. The 28-year-old said her look was inspired from the contemporary women.
When we were, deciding what look to put together, I went straight for this one because this is me. So black and white, of course. I'm quite a black and white fan. And yeah, I love layering. I love, blazers, boots, the tights, everything. I love this whole look, and I think it's really chic, it's very contemporary, and it's perfect for the young modern woman.
The fashion extravaganza saw its highest point, putting both fashion enthusiasts and Bollywood buffs at the edge of their seats in anticipation when heartthrob Hrithik Roshan launched his new brand HRX. Roshan's collection targeted fitness and lifestyle clothing primarily for men, especially gym buffs. The women line included distressed jeans, shorts over loose tops, denim skirts, dungarees, track pants and racer back tops. The show was high on energy as models not only strutted down the ramp but also whizzed down on rollerblades or cycles and performed some hip-hop style dance steps. The actor turned designer said it was a payback time to give something trendy to his fans.
It's been a great experience because I think the vision that I had has been so well articulated and expressed through Myntra. I am extremely delighted with the clothes, with the philosophy that goes behind it. It's extremely satisfying.
Model turned actor Lisa Hayden put together looks from 3 international brands, Girls on Films, Paper Dolls and Little Mistress. The collection covered a mix of flirty florals with lace detailing and comprised of pencil silhouettes and maxi dresses. The 3-day fiesta concluded on a highly confident note as designers amped up the show.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. India rules out flag meeting against Pakistan's continued ceasefire violation. Suicide attack in southern Afghanistan kills 5, injures over a dozen. And India's eastern coast on high alert with cyclone Hudhud gathering steam. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.